All right. Hey, guys. Um, Thanks for joining us today, wherever you happen to be and whenever it happens to be. Today, I'm here with Mike Zagare. Did I pronounce it right? I always forget if
Yeah,
the E is pronounced or not.
that was spot on, Abe. Mike
All
Zagare.
right. All right. So I'm here with Mike Zagare from PPC Entourage. He is actually one of the OG people in the PPC software space. I know his software has been around a little bit longer than most. And what we're going to do today is actually get a little bit of a walkthrough. We're getting a walkthrough from the person that created the software, as opposed to somebody from just inside the company. And one of the things which also makes them unique is that he is very heavily involved in continuing to develop the software. He just sent me an email last week with a couple of new features. We're going to go into really the way the software works effectively and the ways to get the most out of it and what makes PPC Entourage special. Mike, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself before we dig into the software?
Yeah, Abe, thanks so much. So my name is Mike Zagare. I used to be a physical therapist in 2015. I started selling on Amazon. 2016, realized that the way to scale the business was through Amazon advertising, and then also realized there wasn't a tool out there to really help me do that. So I decided to build my own, and it has been a journey ever since. Early on, our tool was nothing that impressive, to be honest. I mean, it had some basic functions. Over the last few years, we've been able to really improve it, and my passion every day is learning Amazon ads and making features that are useful for bigger brands and agencies or brands of any size who are looking to get the most out of their Amazon advertising. And I would say that our niche in the space is a good blend of automation and bulk operations, which I'm sure we'll get to in the presentation.
Sure. I know we're going to dig into the software, but just even before we get there, in
Mhm.
terms of the right the right person who can take advantage of PPC Entourage. Um, Ideally, of course, once you get to a certain size, you will certainly be able to take advantage of it. But is there like a point at which a brand might be too soon for it? Like if somebody is spending $100 a month, I imagine that there isn't enough information with that the software can take advantage of. $2, $3 a day is not going to be enough. But is there a typical sweet spot where it really starts to get effective?
Yeah, first I'll start off by saying who we're not meant for. Anyone who's looking for like a black box solution where you just simply like select the SKU and have it the software do everything for you. That is not Entourage. Entourage does have very simple features that you could just dive into if you're just getting started. Even if it's like $1,000 a month of ad spend, you can go in there and easily optimize and easily do things. But the more you're spending, and to answer your question, Abe, I would say starting at over $1,000 in spend, the more you're going to get out of Entourage, the more things you're going to notice, the more improvements you can make, and likely the more wasted ad spend and things of that nature that you're going to find.
Awesome. All right. Yeah. So um $1,000 is actually a nice point. It's a reasonable amount of spend, but certainly not overwhelming. For those of you who are math challenged, that's actually as little as about $30 a day. So once you are committed to advertising, it sounds like the software is at the right point for you. Would that be right?
Yeah. So it's we charge 2.9% of spend. So even if you're charging or if you're billing like $100 a month in ad spend, if that's what you're spending, then it's going to be $2.9 a month in spend. So it's a low price point, even if you're just getting started to kind of learn what's going on in your ads
Right.
and make some improvements.
Awesome. All right, let's get into it. You want to queue up the screen?
Yeah. So let me know when you can see my screen.
I got your screen.
Cool. So this is our new UI. I think we're calling this Entourage 3.0 at this point. We've been around since 2016. So if you've seen the original version of Entourage, it looks nothing like this whatsoever, thankfully. So when you log in for the first time, you're going to see that everything is completely customizable. And you can switch between ad types over here. We will be adding DSP in the next few weeks. That's on our roadmap. And essentially, if you want to see different ad types, you would switch over here. Or if you wanted to view a portfolio view, you could do that as well. And what's cool about our tool is that everything is customizable. So you can come over and completely customize the view and see which tiles you want to have on your homepage. And you could add up to 16 different tiles. And then everything in our tool is also a template. So let's say you're a brand that has multiple accounts, or you're an agency that has multiple accounts. Everything is going to be saved as a template as you go through your different accounts, so you don't have to do things twice. We've been really thinking about how can we save time for brands. We know how busy they are. We know how busy managers are. And every little step of the way, we want to improve efficiency. So things like that really do add up.
All right. So let me ask you the first question.
Sure.
I know that there are a bunch of metrics here at the top of the screen, and I think you mentioned that there are 16 of them. Um, are those the same metrics that we would see in Seller Central, or do you have any extras besides what would be in Seller Central?
On this main dashboard, these are the main metrics that you would see inside of Seller Central.
Okay.
However, we have a reporting dashboard, which I hope we have time to get to. We really put a lot of time and effort and energy into the reports. And there's literally, I don't even know, maybe 100 metrics to go over, including the ability to customize your own metric and make your own ratios, because there's all different
Wow.
ways to show data. So we know that agencies and big brands like know their data the best. So we give them ability to customize that as well.
Right. Well, listen, that's powerful because certain kinds of ratios are what we live off of. And if you can let us decide which ones we like best, that can let us have almost like a competitive advantage in the way we use it. So that's a big deal. All right, cool.
Yeah, and
Um,
if you go through this and you don't see a ratio that we have, we don't have them here on the dashboard, just reach out to us. We'll add it in no time. We have a really quick turnaround time on that.
cool. Another quick question. In the top center, I see the date range that you can select.
Mhm.
How does this only go back 120, or can we customize the date range? And if the software is connected longer than 120 days, can we pick longer timeframes than that?
Yeah, so if you are, let's say, with us for a year or so, you can go back a year. I know this account, we can go back like 5 years because this was the original PPC Entourage account.
Oh,
So we
wow.
have data for days. And then also something we're working on, if you're coming over from another tool, or maybe you have all your reports saved, we can also upload those reports into our tool. So this way you have access to more than the standard 60 days of data. Unfortunately, Amazon only gives you 60 days when you sign up for a new
Right.
tool. But we're trying to overcome that obstacle by allowing sellers to upload important information like search term reports and keyword reports and campaign reports and things like that.
Got it. Does it have to be the full set of data, or whatever they have will fill in gaps? That
Correct.
makes sense.
Whatever you have, we'll fill in gaps. You probably don't have all the data, and whatever you can give us, we'll upload. We'll have one of our team members do that for you.
Got it. So so when you mentioned your team, that leads to another question, which is if someone is coming from a different software platform, and the other platform is nice enough to give someone their data dump on the way out the door, you guys can massage the data and get it all plugged in here.
Yes, we can.
All right.
Yeah.
That's actually a big issue. My agency is like 5 years old, and I have used more than one software platform over the 5 years. And migrating data when there's a lot of it is like a really big deal. So the fact that you guys can make it easy for someone to come over if they're not happy somewhere else, that's absolutely useful. So it's good.
Yeah, there's actually another tool out there called Ad Astronaut. I don't know if you've heard of that. And that's kind of like what they do.
Yeah,
They
they basically make all your data portable, right?
portable data. Yeah. So you can use an API into any one of the tools, which is kind of cool. I've never used it before, but that's kind of what they do. And we can do that just with uploading reports and stuff.
Has Carbon 6 bought them yet or no?
They may be
Uh,
on the hunt. I can't disclose any information, but we'll see.
Got it. All right. Well, this isn't about Ad Astronaut, but if someone is looking to make their data portable wherever they are at in their satisfaction situation, I guess Ad Astronaut is the software to consider. But for managing, Ad Astronaut does not do that.
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things that we listened to our customers that we wanted to add real quick was the weekly view and the monthly view. So this is cool because you can see the week over week views, and we do the last 6 weeks. General way to see trends over time across all of the important metrics. You have organic revenue all the way down to new to brand sales, and we even include tacos as well.
All right,
So
wait. Let me read these quick,
yeah,
just because I want to like understand it well. So organic revenue, we're good. PPC revenue, we're good. Total revenue, we're good. Those are your numbers, basically.
yeah.
Ad spend, got it. Impressions, yes, important, and it's good to know the trends of over time. Clicks, orders, conversion percentage, ACOS, TACOS, average CPC, ROAS, new to brand orders, new to brand sales, new to brand units, and percentage of new to brand sales. So tell me, So all of this information is good. I might have the feedback that for me personally, the way my brain works, I might want these in a different order, but I'll nag you about that later.
Perfect.
But the biggest question is percentage of new to brand sales. That's the percentage of sales which are new to brand.
Correct. Yeah. So Amazon doesn't give that back for sponsored product ads, but for the other ad types, it does. So of those orders or of the sales, what percentage are coming from new to brand? And we calculate that for you.
Got it. So in this situation, the first column in the first date range, you made 8 orders. One of them was a new to brand shopper. The other 7 were people who knew you already. So in this situation, new to brand is 12%.
Correct. Yes.
Got it. Just out of curiosity, by the way, you have access to a lot of data. What kind of ranges and percentages of new to brand sales do you see for accounts? Are there like some who have a lot and some who have a little, or are, what kind of ranges do you see? I've never spent time to think about it, but like, I'm curious if you have paid attention to it at all.
Yeah. I think it's different for all the different accounts. When you think about it, if somebody's searching for using a keyword or a search term to find a product, and even clicking on sponsored product ads, they're not searching specifically for your brand. So they're likely going to be new to brand. Now, I don't know what percentage of those people are new to brand. Maybe they heard you from somewhere else. So obviously sponsored product ads, we don't get that information. So percentage wise, it's hard to know, but I would guess it would be like around 80% of those people are new to your brand because they're not searching for your brand. But then for sponsored brand ads, sponsored brand video, sponsored display, we get that information. 60, 70%, I would say, is a ballpark number. It's hard to say off the top of my head, but I would also say that in the reporting section, which I'll show you in a second, we have new to brand orders and percentage of new to brand broken down by ad type. So you can easily go into your own campaigns and see, based on the different ad types, where are my new to brand sales coming? And what are the ratios of that? Is it 80%? Is it 70%?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, that's really interesting to me because to think that 20 to 30% of the shoppers are recurring customers, that's actually pretty interesting to me. Like I look at the flip side of it and
Right.
how many are recurring customers. So when you tell me that 20% of my shoppers already have purchased from me one time, that's actually valuable information. Like I look at the flip side of the NutriBrand. How many are recurring customers?
Yeah, that's important. That's really important. And later, I really want to show you the reporting section. We have a way to figure that out inside of the tool.
Awesome. All right, perfect. I'll let you take it. I'll let you go forward, but that is definitely interesting. I like this. I like this data laid out in this way. I like rows of information this way.
Yeah, so this is monthly view. Same thing, last 6 months. And this just give you a snapshot of how you're doing. You can check out your revenue, your impression share, like all of these different things. And of course, this is very basic information, but of course, it's nice to have it all laid out in an easy to digest way. So
Is this exportable?
absolutely, yeah. In our reporting section, we actually just added this view as an export, and I really am excited about our customizable reports. And part of it is the ability to add this this chart here or this table.
Okay, very good.
So right now, what you're seeing is what we call the command center. And you could also get to this by clicking on the command center. And this is where we have essentially everything that you can do inside of Seller Central, but you could do at scale. And we also have, I'm really excited about this incredibly useful way to sift through the campaigns. Now, my pet peeve on Amazon is when you're inside of the advertising console, you have to do like 7 to 8 clicks to really figure out what's going on inside of that campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And it just takes a lot of time. Now, in the effort to reduce that amount of time, we've added a lot of different filters and also a lot of different views to help you make better decisions. So I'm going to highlight one of those by going right over here. There's a little plus button by the campaign. And on when you click on the plus button, what we're going to show you is the guts of the campaign. So essentially everything that's inside of the campaign. These are the ASINs that are the ads. These are the ASINs that we're advertising. And then we have the amount of ad groups. We have 49 targets. I can click on that plus to see the actual targets, negative keywords, negative targets, match types, phrase exact broad, any kind of tags you've added, the bidding strategy, and also the performance by placement. If this were a sponsored brand ad or a sponsored brand video ad, you'd also see the headline, landing page, and the creative and the video, so you can quickly see what's going on without having to click 700 times inside of a campaign.
Got it. If there is many ASINs, what shows in that ASIN spot?
Yeah, let me try to find one that has many ASINs. So if there are multiple ASINs, you're going to see a rotation. So it'll basically, there it goes. See how it's rotating through?
Right.
So these are all the different ASINs that we're targeting in this campaign. There's 2 of them.
If there's 100 ASINs, well, it would be a rotation of 100, but you wouldn't know what the 100 are.
It would rotate through all 100. You'd have to sit here until it does it, but it'll get through those. And then here's another one. I guess it was it's going through all the ASINs. There's multiple ASINs in this.
Got it. So I'll give you a piece of feedback. You might want to add a column there for ASIN count, so I know whether it's 1 or 50. I work with a lot of sellers in a lot of categories, and there are a lot of times where we have a number of ASINs in a campaign or in a group, and knowing whether there's one or many is going to be useful, including the count. So as an example, like one scenario which comes up, it doesn't really come up, but just so you know, I consider proper hygiene when sellers are selling on Amazon to have an FBA ASIN and an FBM ASIN. You want to have both. That way, if FBA runs out, you have goods to ship yourself at least, so the goods don't truly show out of stock. Now, you need to have both SKUs in your campaign so that when one runs out, the other one continues to deliver. If you see in a screen like this that your ASIN count is an odd number, that means that you're missing a fulfillment type in there.
Yes.
You need to have it even. If you added one but not the other accidentally, you could be able to spot that.
Love that. Yeah, so ASIN count, and maybe even have like a flag if it says FBA or versus FBM, maybe like a little indicator.
I mean, FBA, FBM is maybe, I would consider knowing the number of ASINs in a clear way to be more important than that, because other people, there's 100 reasons why you might want to know how many ASINs are in there, but the FBA, FBM is, I mean, you can think that through. It's not my job to redesign the software for you. This is just like my comment that I would want to know, not with a carousel of images, but with a number, how many ASINs are in there.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the feedback and keep it coming.
Yeah, of course. All right, let's go.
Yeah, so you'll see this little eyeball over here too. This is just another way to view metrics for the campaigns. Mm-hmm. We have this ability to view metrics over the given period of time. As you can see, we're looking at 2 months worth of data, and you can see the trend on an individual metric level. So if I want to look at my average cost per click, let's say, over the last 2 months, I can do that. Of course, I messed around with the columns. So I'll show you how to change that in a second. But let's look at our spend trend over the last 2 months. And you can see our spend has fallen off a cliff, and we're at 0 over the last 2 months. Once again, this is just another way to see and dive into your data in a glance. And at a glance, you can see everything that's inside of this campaign, every metric, and how those metrics are performing over the given time frame that you've selected.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah, so let me minimize this and there we go. I'm going to get rid of that. Now, the really cool thing that we just finished today, customizable columns. If you ever market on Facebook, it's way more advanced than Amazon. And if you go in there, you're going to see that you have this ability to create a million different columns, and you can drag and drop all your different columns. So what I wanted to do is, based on the goal of what you're wanting to look at in the table in the command center, I wanted to come up with some columns that were easy to view and easy to pull up. So here we have predefined templates. Let's say we want to see the performance of our videos. We just simply click on the video metrics. And now we have all of our video metrics organized nice and neatly over here for that campaign. Let's say we go over here and we want to do something like funnel metrics. Click on funnel metrics. We have everything that goes into the funnel predefined. Let's say you want to get creative and customize your own columns. You can come over here and you can actually drag and drop everything. You can pick from all of the different columns that we have available. You can save that as your own template and then go through your own template of columns as you come in.
Are these columns the columns also of Seller Central's columns?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So if there's always a way that I view things in Seller Central, I can match that view over here with a template.
Right. And then there's the default setting, which this is our default setting. And then before, when I clicked on this little metric section here, these are the actual metrics. And you can look at things like average cost per click and say, oh my gosh, my average cost per click is starting to go down or up or whatever the case may be. Green
Yeah. So
indicates improvements. If you're
got
going
it.
down in average cost per click, that's a good thing. We make it green. It's going up, we make it red.
Perfect. So a random question is, if I would highlight fewer columns, would I be able to see more of the campaign name?
If you want to see more of the campaign name, you would just simply go over here and bring this out.
Perfect. All right. Yeah. So this is the command center, and it gives us access to a lot of data, and it's drillable. I guess drillable is a good way to put it, right?
Yeah, real quick, one more thing to make it drillable. We have a filter that we just improved. What's cool about this is every column is filterable. So if you want to find like certain campaigns that are performing at a certain level, you can make filters, save that filter, come in here and load it up whenever you want. You could also get into the guts a little bit in your filtering. So let's say I wanted to find campaigns that have our automations turned on. Well, you could do that here. Let's say if I want to find campaigns that have exact match keywords or broad match for phrase match, you can do a combination of anything here. Let's say I want to do broad match with active placement modifiers. You can go as nuts as you want. Then you can save that filter, come in here and view those campaigns. And the cool thing about this is a great way to then load the campaigns into the bulk engine when you go to do bulk operations, which is our spreadsheet eliminator. So our goal is to completely eliminate spreadsheets, and giving you any which way to organize data and collect information about data and then take action on that is our main mission with Entourage.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, it's definitely interesting to have modifiers like that. I haven't seen things like that in other platforms. So if this is a way to look for things, like once you wrap your brain around it, that's going to be something which is good. Now, is it possible to look for things which don't have active placement modifiers?
If we were doing this tomorrow, then yes.
You're launching it. You're launching it. So, okay. So just for everybody who wants to know, today is May 11th, 2023. So if you watch it after May 11th, 2023, you will be able to see campaigns which don't have active placement modifiers on them. Is that correct?
So,
did I say it correctly?
Yeah. So see how it says campaigns with?
Yep.
There'll be another section that says campaigns without, and you can make what you want.
Okay, so that's very good. I'll suggest one more thing that you could put there. Campaigns with multiple match types in them. So one of the banes of as an agency, and what I always counsel people that I speak to is you should only have one match type in any campaign. You should have a campaign for an exact, you should have a campaign for broad phrase. Any of these things should always be only one campaign. And when I take over campaigns, I frequently see people mixing match types, and it takes away from performance, because ideally you might want to have the highest modifiers on an exact match campaign because you really want to push those top of search. Whereas broad match, in a situation where your keywords are being turned into all kinds of terms that you don't have control over, you do not want to aggressively be on top of search for things which might not even match what you're trying to advertise for intentionally. So finding situations where there are mixed match types is definitely going to be a good investigation tool.
Yeah, I would say the way to do that now, maybe there's a way to improve this, but you could actually add all three match types and then click on apply in the campaigns that have all three or two out of the three. But you're saying have a selection with multiple match types, meaning if it has just two out of the three instantaneously.
More than one, right? If it has more than one match type in it, I want to catch it, basically.
Right. Makes sense.
Just the same thing like if I want to catch a campaign with no modifiers, so how did I catch it, basically?
Perfect.
All right. Very good. Perfect. Let's keep going.
All right. So a couple other ways to stay organized in this tool. We have a section over here. We just added all of this called actions, rules, and views. So the great thing about our view is that you could do what's called table views, which I already showed you, but you can do them at scale. The whole goal of our tool is to be able to do things at scale. So I can select every single campaign and go into campaign details, creatives, and view the creative details like the images, the ASINs, all of that stuff, or the metrics over time. Those are called table views, and they'll fill in the table. I could also do what's called aggregated views. And when I select an aggregated view, I'm going to get a pop-up that shows these 3 campaigns, and these are the different views that we have right now. So let me show you the one we have. This is called a chart view. This is a standard chart view of all of your metrics over time. Now I'm looking at these 3 different campaigns. And what's cool about this is, let's say you have a portfolio, you can load your portfolio, see the performance of this campaign. And what I want to really highlight here is I could then remove campaigns from this and see just one campaign. And the great thing about this is we have something that we just added called logs. So
Okay,
if you show
wait,
your,
I gotta interrupt you for a second.
yeah,
I mean, I could probably do it by pressing the back button, but can you close this out and show me again the aggregated? As I started to hear you talk about it, I couldn't wrap my brain exactly what it meant. So let's
oh yeah.
explain to me better what it means, this aggregated thing.
So we use the term aggregated. Perhaps there's another term in the English language that is
Well,
better.
let's figure it out as a use case. So say I have 4 campaigns that I want to look at in a different way than this. That's what we want to do, right?
Yeah, let's take a use case. Let's say you want to find out how all of your automatic campaigns are doing, or make it even more refined. Let's say you go over here and want to see how all your phrase match campaigns are doing.
Well, can I give you a situation? I want to see how all my cat litter mats are doing.
All your cat litter mats. Okay.
Yeah.
Are your cat litter mats inside of a portfolio?
Yeah, I have a cat litter mat portfolio.
Okay. So then you would go over here, you'd actually click on the cat litter map, which we actually have.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it.
A cat litter map portfolio. You would select those campaigns
Mhm.
and you would do your views investigation, and you'd
Okay.
go to chart view log history. Now, this is pulling in a ton. Look at all these campaigns. I've actually never done this many campaigns. So we'll see how long this takes to pull up. Probably,
Perfect use case.
yeah, okay, there it is.
There you go.
And then if you wanted to go nuts, one by one, you can remove these campaigns and you can view
And see how
different.
they're impacting basically.
Correct.
Now, these metrics on the bottom. So these are a combined set of data for all the campaigns that are there, right? So we have the PPC revenue, the ad spend, the orders, the clicks, the impressions, and the ACOS. We can add metrics. Perfect. With that, when you put an X on any of those, is there a way to bring it right back in?
Well, you can trash can it.
No. But I'm saying, say I have right now 30 campaigns in there. If I press X, but I pressed X by accident, is there a way to add it back in? Or do I have
Yeah,
to close this out and rerun it?
we have an open request to select campaigns from up here as well, or search from our campaigns and then add them into this.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so let's say we go back to just one.
Mhm.
And this is something that I think a lot of sellers are going to enjoy. We go over to the same thing, but we go to views and we go to chart view, log history. Now we can see any kind of logs that our system made for this particular campaign in our Smart Pilot or the bulk engine. So if you took action on your campaign, it will be here, which is really cool because we could also revert a change. Let's say you do something or the tool does something that you don't necessarily agree with, which is it doesn't happen often because we're rule-based. We're not some kind of fancy AI tool, that type of thing. It's more rule-based, whatever you input. So essentially you're going to see the log over here, and then you can go ahead and then take action. If it's a change that you don't like, you can revert that change. Now, obviously we had a simple change here. We just updated the campaign name, so you can revert it back to the old campaign name. But if you had a bid change, you could also revert the bid change. If you had a negative that went in as negative exact, you can revert that as well. The point is, you can see the before and after, the performance before and after. You could see when the logs are made, and then you could see, oh, this is what happened after that was made, and this is not good, or this is great. Let's do it again.
So I have I have a question and a suggestion.
Sure.
So we'll start with the suggestion. And again, this is just my own personal preference. I very much might not represent the whole world. But my suggestion would be to call it a change log as opposed to just a log. Adding the extra word makes it that much clearer what we're logging, you know? So showing the change log is interesting. Anyway, that's a suggestion. Do what you want with it. The question is, can I do all the can I undo a group of changes? Like if I made a bunch of bid changes on Tuesday and a week later I see disaster. Either I went too low or too high or sideways, or I did something that really made the account perform not the way I want. Can I undo the changes of Tuesday, or will I have to undo each individual change one by one?
So what's going to happen, I believe, is you'll have all of the changes listed one by one down here. So you'll have let's say you made a change to a keyword, and there's 10 keywords in the campaign, but all the keywords got changed. On 5/8, there will be 10 different entries. You'll have all the entries here. It'll say detail. Campaign keyword went from 30 cents to 36 cents. Okay, that wasn't a good change. I want to revert it. I could revert that. So you can actually go through one by one and revert the changes.
Got it. If I revert something by accident, can I unrevert it, re-implement it?
Unrevert the re-revert.
Like put it back into place.
I don't think that's a feature, but at this point, but we could definitely look into that.
Got it. Sorry if I'm making you crazy.
No,
okay,
it's
the other
Actually,
suggestion I'll make along that line, by the way, if you can put like a column of check boxes on the left and be able to revert in bulk.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Like if you have 70 changes, you just hit the checkbox and select the whole column, and then just like apply a thing to the whole column.
I like that. Yeah, and awesome. The feedback's welcome.
Yeah, that's easier than I imagine that's easier than the unrevert. But like, this is a situation with two changes across a portfolio that's doing a lot of sales. You'll have a lot of changes. So the ability to change a lot of things without many clicks is going to be super useful.
Very, very well said. Agreed.
Yeah. All right. I love this. By the way, just so you know, on time, before the call, we spoke about your hard stop at a certain point. Right now, we're about 30-40 minutes in. So what I'm actually thinking, and I'll leave this open to you, is if you want, we can actually make this just a presentation of Command Center. That can be like a whole segment of its own. And like at a different point in time, we can dig into the other parts of the software if you're enjoying this.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because the bulk engine and our reporting in the Smart Pilot is really awesome. So
they're powerful things of its own, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. But, I really want to show you the rest of the Command Center because things like what I showed you before with the hourly data, with the week over week, you can then look at different views. You can go to, week over week. And now we're looking at the week over week for just these campaigns. So we've got this view available. We could do it on a portfolio level, load the portfolio, see these campaigns, how they're performing week over week, and of course, month over month as well. And then we also have the hourly information in this view as well. So aggregated hourly. Here's how these are performing hourly. Now, I don't think they have data. So there it is. Oh, it does have data. Performance by day and hour, performance by hour. You can view it as a table as well.
So this is coming from AMC, or this is coming from AMS, or this is I forget which acronym it gives us this data.
This is AMS, Amazon Marketing Stream.
Right. Okay. So you're fully integrated with it. Are you telling us, does the software tell us, or does PPC Entourage give us guidance on when the conversions are happening compared to the click?
Well, let me say that it will in about 2 weeks. We're actually working on advanced day parting, which is looking really sleek and really pretty. It'll basically take this information and show you all of that information broken down by whatever metric you want. And then give you really clear steps on how to best utilize that information. So right. I would say 2 weeks from this video, if you're watching this like mid-May or the end of May, that will be live and looking good. It should be, I'm seeing the first version of it early next week.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, my concern is this. I have always been pretty strongly against day parting. The reason I am against day parting is because somebody might click at any point in time, and then they put the product in their cart at whatever point in time that is, but the purchase happens at a totally different time. So if somebody wakes up in the morning, somebody wakes up at 2 a.m., they have to go to the bathroom at 2 a.m., they figure they need more toilet paper. They put the toilet paper in their cart, but they do not check out until 2 days later when they're buying a bunch of other stuff. You might think you have wasted clicks at 2 a.m., but in reality, there are purchases happening at that 2 a.m., you know, just for lack of a better example. I'm sure I could have gotten something without toilet humor in there, but, for lack of a better example, that's a situation where something would be added to a cart at 2 a.m. But if you look at your metrics of clicks to sales, 2 a.m. doesn't look good.
Right.
So knowing when the sale happens compared to the click is going to be really vital in making those decisions.
Yeah. Also the argument that, someone is clicking on your listing, you can now retarget them with sponsored display. And even now sponsored product ads, there's been retargeting showing up as well.
Right.
So, I mean, there's an argument for and against it. I would say that the argument for it would be more about budget utilization. If you can see clearly that maybe on the weekends, there's just no use in spending budget and you're on a tight budget, and this could be a way to reduce your budget. Yeah,
Right.
maybe there's a really good use case for it. But for now, I think it's still in its infancy for sure.
Yeah, that's fair. If you have a tight budget, then maybe you don't want to have to make a guess as to whether something is happening at 2 a.m. It's pretty clear that in hour 11 and 13 and 15, there's a really good correlation between sales and clicks. So yeah, I get that. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have a couple minutes left to the command center. We have the views section, which I just went over in the aggregated views. We went over the table views. We also have the actions. Now we could probably do a whole hour on the actions, but when you go in here, you're going to be able to see that anything you do in Seller Central, you could do here, but at scale. So if I want to,
let me read this. Let me read this through from my own brains. Okay. So pausing a group of campaigns together, good. Unpausing a group of campaigns together, good. Updating your target ACOS, good. Updating your daily budgets. That would be, I guess, if you want to apply the same budget to a group of campaigns, you do that all at once. Organizing, you can get them in different portfolios. Yep. Let's see. Let's go back there. Okay. So we can add them to existing portfolios. Okay. So either you can create a new portfolio on the fly, or if you have a portfolio if you have a campaign that isn't in any portfolio or something, or you want to move it to a new target, you can do that. Tags are not something specific to do with Amazon, but do have to do with how the software runs. I'm correct about that, I think. Yep.
yeah,
Updating the campaign names, which is definitely something I wish we had time for during this call, because every single time I look at it, the campaign naming functions of Entourage are awesome. Adding notes sounds intriguing.
Yeah, I think, yeah, adding notes.
Yep. Updating bidding strategies, updating placement optimizations. That's nice. Adding products to advertise, which is cool. We spoke about that FBA and FBM aspect. So if you add an FBM aspect, if you add an FBM version, you can add them to all of your portfolio, a group of campaigns all at once, which would be interesting. Adding targets and adding negatives. Yeah. So if you have a target which does not work at all, you can add them to a whole group of campaigns at once for your product, I take it.
Yeah, as a negative match.
Yeah, listen, those are absolutely useful things to be able to do in bulk.
Yeah, you want to see the campaign name feature real quick?
I love it. Yes, it's that's absolutely one of my favorite features. So for those of you who are not sure why I'm getting all excited here, the first time that Mike demoed this for me was at a Amazon show, and he spent a couple of minutes showing me how you could very easily make correctly structured campaign names. And if you don't have correctly structured campaign names, you're definitely losing out, because it makes it much harder to find things and take action. So I'll let Mike run through this.
Yeah, so here we have 3 selected campaigns. You can see these are the current campaign names. There's some improvements that we could make. Let's say we wanted to add the ad type at the beginning. Now we know what the ad type is: SP, sponsored display for SD. Let's say we wanted to add the target ACOS at the end. There's going to be the pipeline and the target ACOS at the end. Let's say this is a phrase match campaign. Well, we can add phrase match in there as well. Let's say it's also a broad match. Okay, great. Hey, let's go crazy. Maybe it's even a modified broad. Okay, there's no modified broad. You can undo that change, undo any change you want. Then there's specific campaigns. Let's say you have a sponsored display campaign and you have a campaign that has a custom image, or it's an interest audience, or whatever the case may be. Every type of thing that you could think of is in here to help you stay organized. Let's say it's a sponsored product campaign. What is the What type of bidding strategy do you have? Is it a fixed bid? Okay, fixed bid. Campaign type. Is it a rank campaign? Is it a scale campaign? Is it a low bid campaign? I mean, whatever you want to do to stay organized, you can select your campaigns in the beginning, come in here, and then just do this really quick, and then select save, or click on save, and then everything is automatically sent to Amazon, and you're good to go. So this will save you a bunch of time.
Nice. And when I apply text at the beginning, it also puts the pipes.
Yeah. So here I have. Let's put the word. Let's put Abe.
For those who don't know, the pipes are the vertical lines between each little piece of text.
Yeah. So we have Abe here, and we're going to click apply at start. Oh, apply at start. So Abe.
Yep. Abe pipe. Yep. Got it.
Abe the pipe.
Abe the pipe. All right. Perfect. So in case you weren't keeping track of the time, we have like 6 or 7 minutes left. Is there anything else you want to show us in those 6 or 7 minutes? I can take forever, but I know that you have to stop.
Well, we have the add notes section, which is equally as important for bigger brands, a brand of any size and agencies. When you go in and optimize, obviously, if you don't take notes or know what you're doing week to week, things get lost, and that could lead to confusion. So we have those same 3 campaigns selected. I could then add a note. Let's say added placement modifiers today. And I spelled that wrong, but it's okay. Apply to all. And now I'm going to save that note. Once that note is saved, it's going to apply it to all 3 of these different campaigns. And then let's give this a second. Note has been successfully applied. Okay, let me get rid of this here.
Now, can I have like a whole lifetime of notes or something, like lots of notes?
Good question. You can keep multiple. We don't have the ability to stack notes like you said there, but that's a good suggestion. Here's the note that shows up. If you look, it's right by our smart palette. So this is our automation for this campaign. Then we have the note for this campaign. We can save, delete, and close. I can also organize, and clicking on this button. Sorry, not that button. This one here. These are all of the campaigns that actually have notes. So those 3 campaigns are the ones that have notes. And then if I open up the actual campaign dashboard, which every one of the campaigns has its own dashboard, including every way to optimize that campaign. Here's the note section for that campaign. I can edit the note and delete the note. Now, in terms of stacking notes, I think that's a good idea. We'll have to add that. That's it.
Yeah. All right.
That's the command center in a nutshell.
Wow, that is a lot. All right, so yes, I mean, this was a lot, and we're only on screen 1. So that's pretty impressive.
Awesome. Yeah, well, appreciate that. And I appreciate your suggestions. And of course, will get to me if you have any suggestions. I'd love to hear them.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this together, and for whoever's watching, I'm going to include links in the notes to the software. Maybe if Mike is feeling generous, he'll give us a promo code that I can add in there afterwards. Mike, anything you want to say on the way out? Anything interesting about what you're doing with Entourage, or how people should get in touch with you?
Yeah, just that I'm really excited to be part of Carbon 6. We were bought by Carbon 6 a year ago, and I'll be working with them for several years to build out Entourage and make it the very best advertising tool. We have connections coming with Pixel.me, something called rank rules to help you maintain your rank, internal and external advertising strategies to help you maintain your rank. So be on the lookout for that, and just reach out to me. My email address is mike@carbon6.io or mike@ppcentourage.com. Either one is good. And I'm starting to get out there a little bit on LinkedIn. Abe is beating me to the punch, but hopefully I'll be at his level soon.
Oh boy, you got some work to do. All right, man. Thank you for the time. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
You got it.